There's something about Mary, 1998. I was talking with some LGBTQIA plus friends in a pub earlier, and one asked what film I was going to review next, and I was still thinking. I wasn't quite sure as I didn't see anything new last night. And I think it was this particular friend who suggested that I give There's Something About Mary a review. Um, and since I remember it well, let's give it a go. This film is now more than 27 years old, and obviously it will have dated, and it probably was already controversial at the time. I mean, I think everything by the Ferrelli brothers would be, as they were um, probably considered um, what was termed politically incorrect, and I don't like expressions like that. But given the atmosphere in the late 90s and early noughties, people kind of delighted in that humour, and I found it funny at the time. I mean, there is a lot that is dodgy, and it would have been dodgy in the 90s. Um, and well, I think the saving grace perhaps is that it's heaped upon in a scattergun approach. There's It's fast and furious humour, as in there's one joke after the other. It just keeps on coming, and it's spread out everywhere. It's offend everyone style, or it's hard to work out who is going to be most offended. I mean, offense is such a strange thing anyway. Um, but I don't like humor that punches down. And yet, whilst I think it is horrible to particular groups, and it is a narrative with a very strong masculine perspective, I think because the protagonist is Ted Stroman, played by Ben Stiller, and his infatuation or possibly love with Mary, the title role, Mary Jensen, played by Cameron Diaz. Um, I mean, for a start, there's obsession. There's a stalker theme because Mary's moved away. I mean, I'm just reminded of this now, after looking at the trailer and reading a little bit of, synopsis from Wikipedia. Now, I didn't read much of it because I don't want to get influenced by it. So I just started reading the sort of blurb about the characters. And Mary Jensen, in the Wikipedia entry, is an orthopedic surgeon who becomes the obsession of several men. She previously lived on Rhode Island, but was forced to change her last name to Matthews and moved to Florida to avoid a stalker. So this is, um, it's not good subject matter for comedies, I think, or at least it's going to be problematic. It's not going to be problematic for anyone who hasn't had experience of stalkers. But because that is such a big problem nowadays, it would have been better if that wasn't the one of the key themes. But the whole title is There's Something About Mary, which attracts various men, and they just get obsessed, and it's like obsession. It's just like, it's an awful thing. It's, pretty terrible, um, type of, human attribute, and so the other thing is, uh, disabilities. I think the tone is well off on this as well as the stalker scenario. It makes fun or it takes advantage of disabled people, or maybe the thing is it's making fun of the people who are mocking disabled people. I'm not completely clear. I've not seen this film recently. I did watch it when it was released in the cinema, and I watched it afterwards. And it was only a few years later when I was talking to some other people, and I mentioned, "Oh, there's something about Mary" came up, and I noticed it sort of made the atmosphere uncomfortable. A lot of people are uncomfortable with the film, and that was just a few years after its release. And I don't think, considering, the generations that I'm Generation X, and there's a lot of people in my generation who don't seem to care about the sensibilities of other people. And I think it is important to consider, um, people being hurt and harmed by, um, stories, and when things are off tone, um, I mean, I don't know. It's like, there are some scenes that are making fun of women, there are some scenes that are making fun of men because they're putty in the hands of women, and then there's animals, there's, scenes that are really slapstick about involving a small dog who seems to be drugged and seems to pass out and possibly even die, and then gets revived. And it really was, it felt funny, and yet it felt uncomfortable at the time because, um, I mean, I guess the dog, the fact that the narrative, the dog comes back alive, shows this no harm, but, kind of electrocuting a dog, I just think, well, that is obviously gonna upset some people. And yeah, I remember when I saw it, that those scenes involved Matt Dillon, who plays Pat Healy, who's a private investigator who becomes obsessed with Mary and quits his job to pursue her. Again, that's from Wikipedia. And just think, I mean, he's like the ultimate sleazebag. He's just sleaze in human form. And it's quite funny. I mean, it is funny in that I think he's a great actor, is Matt Dillon, and, I've noticed on social media someone else who likes Matt Dillon. I've got when I look back on some of the films, I think, yeah, this was funny. I mean, I like Ben Stiller and Cameron Diaz as well, and you kind of think, oh gosh, how did they all get involved in this? And yet, laughing at yourself is a good thing, but laughing on people with less privilege doesn't feel comfortable. And I suppose it's a bit like Eurotrip 2004, which I saw, um, earlier this year after seeing first in 2004, and my attitude to that has changed. And there's very strong cringe elements to certain parts of the story, and it's just like, um I can still see how how I felt about it back at the time, and there's some scenes that just are perhaps more shocking, and some scenes that they're so ridiculous, they can be funny, like the Pope scenes, um, the new Pope, or there's something about that. There's a sort of like, oh, there's a new Pope has been found, that kind of thing, and I don't really want to go into that too much, that film, but there's, stuff that is shocking or will shock people in all these films. I mean, it's and again, because, um, there's mocking both at men and women. Um, I'm I don't know what to make of it. I just think I probably ought to listen to more people and understand other points of view. But what I listen to, I'd really like to see people's comments, obviously, and understand, um, points of views, especially, if I'm too lenient on films like this. I'd like to see that as well. I mean, one of the there's this thing about the reason this film got, brought up as a conversation topic in the pub was mousse or gel used in the hair by Mary, which was not that. Um, and that's an infamous scene from this film. It's something else. It's not hair gel, but and there's plenty of clips about it on the internet, and there's a lot of clips from the funniest moments of this film, and some of them I saw, uh, I did watch, and I thought, yeah, that's still funny to me, and some bits I thought, "Mm, that's that that isn't funny." And I think I would, yeah, there's another section which I think about, which is right at the start, 13 years before the main part of this film, where, um, Ted, goes on a prom night with Mary. But he has a zipper problem in the bathroom. He he looks out the window, um, and looks through, because that window overlooks another window, and he hastily uses the zipper, and it gets caught in a very uncompromising way. And there's so many people involved in that scene, and it really maxes out embarrassment, well, male embarrassment, because of what he's got caught. It's like the Frank and the Beans scene, um, and I think that, yeah, this. I mean, it's like some of the peripheral characters, like the actor who first comes in, who is, um, he's trying to find out what's going on with Ted, and his reaction to the predicament Ted is in is laugh funny, laugh out loud funny, I think, still. Um, but I don't know, it's just that sort of silly humour isn't punched down at all, I don't think. Maybe your opinion's different. There's some characters I thought, "Oh gosh, is it Tucker or Norm?" There's one character called Woogie, and that I don't know. Because I haven't seen the film recently, and I'm not sure when or if I'll see it. I think I might see it with. What I would like to do is see it with people from, um, the next generation down, to just see if it appalls them, which I expect it will, and that might I might become better educated. I want to actually realise, well, I think I do realise, but one that side, um, to be more reinforced, have a better idea. Because, I mean, I know that, the younger generation, say Gen Z and even some millennials will, I think Gen Z certainly find it, Friends problematic. I haven't really seen Friends. I've seen a few episodes, but I gather that that is shocking. And it's the same as, I heard people talking about, um, the music of The Police being really creepy. I think it's because of Every Breath You Take, because that's got a stalker element to the lyrics. Um, and of course, back in, say, 1981, I wasn't aware of that. So I thought it was, I just heard it as a song. Gradually, we grow, we learn from the past. And I mean, I think I always preferred Message in the Bottle and some of the other um, Police songs. But I gather that the Police aren't exactly flavour of the month with younger generations because they are more um, socially aware of injustice. Let's say that, and that's what. Um, to be critical of myself, I think I've still got more to learn, and so I'm all ears. Um, so I think I would score this. Um, Score this cringe fest because I think it probably is overall. It's got some very funny moments that you can relive afterwards. But I'd score it now about 7. Would I give it maybe 7.5 out of 10? Still right in the middle of between um, very good and bad because 5 is my limit. Below 5 is like what other people might count as minus marks. Not films not worthy, films that are 4, 3, 2, 1 out of 10. So 7.5 is a middling score, and this is right in the middle. But I think back in, probably in 27 years ago, I think um, I'd have scored it, probably 9 out of 10, I imagine. So it has dropped in my estimation. Anyway, that's what I have to say about it. Please leave comments. Please l- like if you like this review. Thanks for subscribing. Please hit the notification button. Hope to see you again soon. Ta-ra for now.